Welcome to Cannabis School. I'm your host, Jesse Angeles.
And I'm Brandon Elder.
And we're here to talk to you about everything pertaining to cannabis, from vape,
flower,
edibles,
strains,
and everything in between.
There's a movie that's probably back before your time because you're just such a little young kid here. And it has this guy named Willy Wonka. And he's
Right.
got
I know the story about Willy Wonka.
Yeah. So
I just never really I got to where the chick eats the blueberry thing. Then I probably passed.
Oh, that's funny because that's actually what we're talking about is a strain referring to a blueberry.
That's right.
So it's actually called blueberry or berry blue.
Berry blue. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Taste wise.
Yeah, I had to save some to let you try it because
it was so good.
It was so good and it went so fast. And I was like, wait, no, I have to set this aside.
It's a candy strain.
Oh my gosh.
If you have it in a vape pen, that's the forewarning that you have to have, is that this is a candy strain. That by having this in vape, you're going to want to puff on this all the time. And it's not a super strong... I don't know. What kind of strain is this?
This is an Indica. It's
really
made from Afghani and crossing Thai with purple Thai and Afghani all the way back in the 70s. Blueberry is like a really old OG Indica strain.
It's not a super strong one either. I actually enjoyed quite a bit of it during the daytime. I actually had some elbow pain. I get tennis elbow really bad in my left arm.
You know, it's funny. I bet the flower might be... Oh, the flower is different. I've had that one years ago. That was actually one of the first strains that I got at the same time. I got blueberry, Afghan Kush, and... I'll have to think about it. But that was my very first time at a dispensary.
Really?
Yeah. Blueberry and flower is amazing.
Does it taste almost the same or better?
Yeah. Oh, it's for flower.
Like key
it's
lime?
Still a lot of like blueberry flavors in it. It's incredible.
That's so cool.
So the pen that we had, like even that, it was such a candy experience. Like you puff on it, it tastes like blueberry. It tastes like candy.
So what was your experience on it?
Oh man, very smooth for like an indica. Berry tastes on the inhale and exhale.
No cough?
No, very
I didn't
smooth.
get any cough on it.
But I did think that it was a one-hitter for new users. Because if I took that hit, and I usually try and hold it like 2 seconds. I'm not holding my breath. I'm not trying to hold it in for a long time, but it's a normal inhale, a normal exhale.
Right.
And so I thought that for new users, that's probably one hit. And then write it out, see how that feels. And it could even be potent for some experienced users. More sativa leaning, more on the flower than the distillate that we have.
I'd agree.
But it was quite fast when you hit it. Like it was almost
instantaneous, yeah.
And a very sense of like highness within the body. So it was like I could instantly feel it, and just kind of made it easier to unwind and kind of provides a nice therapeutic, calming feeling.
Yeah, I'd imagine this would be a really good strain if you are a frequenter of float spas. This would be really nice.
I did. I actually had this with me when I went to float just a couple weeks ago because I was like, man, I need to go float. I need to just go chill and float around in absolute nothingness for an hour. And I took several hits of blueberry before going in. And it was exactly the experience I needed.
Dude, talking about floating, I remember the first time I went, my wife got me, it was for, I think it was my 40th birthday. And when we went, of course I was partaking, but I shaved my head, and I guess I shaved my head that day.
Oh my gosh.
And I went, yeah. So I had to use that like little Vaseline thing over there.
All over your head.
All over. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so unbearable.
That would hurt so bad.
So if you've never gone to a float spa, make sure that you don't shave that day.
or the day before,
Yeah,
even.
it will hurt.
Because those sensory deprivation tanks have over 1,000 pounds of Epsom salt in it. And so if you have any cut on there at all, you want to put that like Vaseline covering the cut. Because I've helped my dad work on the pool, and I had a big old cut on the side of my finger. I wouldn't be able, yeah, I couldn't focus if I did. It would be miserable.
But if you had this blueberry.
Oh, it still would hurt like hell. I wouldn't be able to focus. But at least, the rest of me would be feeling good.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, but I still think it was a very chatty, giggly, and cerebral. Like, for being an indica based, there was a lot of cerebral effects that I felt.
For me, it made me feel a little bit more, I didn't really want to engage with anybody, not even my wife. I'm like, hey, look, I'm just going to dick around on my phone, not really want to hang out. I'm just want to be here.
Interesting.
It was a very, just escape. It was a good escape one. It's not, it's definitely not, a crazy super high indica, but it is a good amount where I could stay awake. Not like, Sleepy Joe, where that'll knock you out eventually if you do close your eyes. But this one is one of those where I felt I just wanted to be alone. This would be great for like a hike by myself, maybe just a walk around the block or a couple blocks, maybe take the dog for a walk type of one. Not necessarily just focusing on anything I'm working on, but just more of, can I just be human for a second and not worry about all the stressors of the world? That's what it did
good,
for me.
because I feel like you don't really do that much either.
No.
And with, having 5 kids and everything, it is a lot of time that you're like, sometimes you just need a minute to be you.
Yeah, just to escape.
To just exist. That's it.
I don't want to deal with anything. This strain was really awesome for that. And the fact that it was really candy-like, I would say almost like just listen to your body while taking this, because it's going to tell you, like, here, this is enough to take. You need to take a little bit more.
Oh, yeah. And it's great. It's used for, like, stress and pain, anxiety, depression, insomnia, and PTSD. Like, life's been heavy lately. And, it's great to have that moment of letting everything melt away.
Right.
Going out and just existing. Whether it's just on your phone, all of us need to disconnect from everything,
I agree.
times.
I think it just mindless. I don't know. It's just, there's sometimes where you want to do something to get your mind off things, but honestly, just not doing anything would be the most important thing, I would think. This is a great meditation strain.
Yeah.
You really need to just go, I don't want to focus on anything, but I know I need to focus on something. And a lot of the time where we feel that we don't focus enough on ourselves and taking care of head, we think we got to fill it in with like some motivational book or some really funny movie, but sometimes we just need to completely get rid of everything. That's why the float spa come to me, because you exist in nothingness. You feel like you're in space. Turn off the lights, turn off the sound.
That's my favorite. And you feel weightless, and it's truly like just floating in space.
Yeah.
And I try to imagine just being a consciousness, because the temperature of the water is supposed to mimic the temperature of your skin, losing most of your sense of touch because you're not moving. And so, you can truly just kind of step outside of yourself, and it can be an incredible experience.
Yeah, imagine one of those space movies, where the guy is sucked out into space and the idea they think is that it's completely no sound and it's just surreal and you're just floating there, but in a safe way. I mean, you're tethered. And this strain, regardless of like a float spa, if you allow yourself to just kind of disappear, like I said, a good meditation strain, I would feel, of not necessarily just introspective, it's just being at peace, nothing, just calm, which was really crazy for a blueberry. That's not what I expected. I worked out on this strain, and it wasn't the best. I was really tired throughout the whole thing. I've done indicas where I've gone to the gym and it's been great because it'll focus on areas that I'm getting a little bit more pain. So if I wanted to push a little more, I wanted to do more weight, I could do it. But this strain just it wasn't really good for a physical activity.
Yeah, I
feel.
wouldn't see that. I could see this being okay in a physical activity or as a day strain if you paired it with a good sativa.
Yeah,
Uh,
if you put it in, yeah, if it was flower form, put it
mhm.
into a nice bowl with another strain to kind of counterbalance those feelings. I think it'd be great.
Yeah. But a little bit can go a long way, I feel like, with this
Mm-hmm.
strain. So you don't have to heavily use it as much because it kind of gets you where you want to be.
Yeah, for those who are looking to go into a dispensary, and I know that it's really easy to get caught up into what it's ever on sale and whatever has the highest amount of THC. But if you have this one, it's going to be equal to, or if not better, than anything you can get in more supply of. So if you grab this blueberry, it's going to help you out quite a bit. Now, in the distillates or vape pens, I know vape pens have been going up like crazy. Here in Utah, they're like $100 for a full gram. To some, they go, well, that sounds very reasonable. To others, they're like, that's insane. But we realize what kind of economic times we're in right now. Even with that, though, this is one of those good ones. If you get in a vape pen and you can control yourself, it's hit it a couple times, put it into your drawer, and then maybe revisit it in a few hours. This is a long, slow burn in the body. I feel it
Yeah, it
lasted
was
quite a while.
really cost-effective strain, I think, too. It's not super high on THC either. It's not
Mm-hmm.
one of the top-end ones, but the experience is one of the best still.
Yeah, ask your local bud tender what they think, what experiences they've had with it, and if they haven't, that's okay. Point them towards this podcast. Say, hey, if you want to learn more about all these strangers selling in here, you should just listen to this.
Yeah.
You'll probably get better descriptions, but the story with this one, I just really enjoy that. And for bud tenders that are listening to this one, find this one for those who are coming in, who have that PTSD feel, that those that really have a hard time disconnecting, your workaholics, your serial entrepreneurs. This is that kind of strain that you want to have in your rotation.
There's my cousin reached out to me actually just the other day. He had a friend who has PTSD, insomnia, and
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
and it was funny because I didn't even know my cousin partook. And but he's like, I just usually smoke whatever is in front of me, and so gave him blueberry was actually one of the recommendations. It's really good for I think all of the above, like PTSD, pain, insomnia. Could definitely, if you were to try and sleep, I think you'd be just fine.
Yeah, and for our veterans listening, that's a really good one to start with as well. Not a lot of paranoia. I would say almost very little if you are prone to that, since it's so much more on the indica side. That's a really good way to counterbalance. Now, there are indica strains that induce anxiety, but being middle of the road, not super high on THC like a Bubba Kush, this one's a good one to slide in, to just start out with, but not using a lot of. This isn't something you feel like you need to get hardcore smoked out, smoke a full bowl by yourself, take a couple hits, cover that thing up, and really just allow this to take its effect.
Because it has an awesome one. So
Mm-hmm.
I do have a review for this one too.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it says, was amazing. I went to sleep for about 45 minutes towards the end of the high, but it was great. I could barely walk straight at first, and I got a humongous appetite. I can barely remember anything from that day. All I know is that it was fun. I also remember my forehead and jaw getting really numb. So, like we say for new users, go low,
Yeah,
go
go
slow.
slow. Yeah, take your time with this one, but definitely for those new users, if you're thinking about it. I recently was at the gym wearing a shirt that we had made, a Cannabis School podcast on it. This guy stopped me and said, hey, what is that podcast? And I was like, oh, it's my favorite one. He goes, do you listen to it all the time? I'm like, yeah, every week. And he goes, is it yours? And I said, yeah. And then all these questions, former vet, did 2 tours. He's just like, they've got me on all these meds and I really want to get off of them. I just don't like how it makes me feel. And I'm like, well, I would work with your doc on that. But honestly, just to get you off of those, because you can't just drop any type of serotonin inhibitors, or promoters like that, you've got to go slow getting that off there. I'm not a physician, so don't take them. And this is just my opinion, not my.
PTSD is one of Utah's qualifying conditions still, I think, too.
It is.
They just introduced, I saw today, they just introduced conditional approval as well, which I think just depends on the situation and the doctor and so.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Good news for our Utah peeps.
Yeah, and for all those vets out there, hey, we love you. We support you. Being back in the civilian world, it's tough dealing with what you're dealing. If cannabis can help you, please get that information. Listen to our podcast.
Reach out.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll guide you the best we can. And we really want to be able to work with those dispensaries that listen to us. We want to be able to create partnerships so we can be able to recommend you within our social media and all that, because we want to look for those high quality dispensaries that really care about those customers that come in.
Take care of the people first.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us this week. Remember, Brandon, he's going to share a shirt that he's wearing during this recording. You have to think about that. Like, you're showing up to something, somebody's called you up and said, hey.
You want me to show this shirt?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, because that's going to be funny as hell.
So where is this being shown?
This is going to be on our Insta.
Okay.
So go to our Insta and go back through. It's going to randomly pop up. And probably when the show airs.
We'll do it on the day this episode drops.
Yeah. We're going to do it.
Check out Instagram at Cannabis School Podcast.
And you just got to comment saying, I saw this.
Yeah. And if you don't know what it's from, you'll have to go check out the league.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, everybody. Have yourself a great week.